Know that 91% of people don't actually stick to their New Year's resolutions, and the reason being is their lack of self-discipline. In this video, I'm going to be talking about how to make self-discipline easy. Self-discipline is not something we're born with, it's actually a skill, and we can master it, or if you're willing to put in the work, and there's going to be some work. Hello guys, welcome back to Ikram Aligned, where we talk about everything related to manifestation, abundance, and transformation. And this year I am actually taking you guys along with me with my transformation journey. I posted a video about my weight loss plan for 2025 if you want to go ahead and watch that. And so today we're going to be continuing on from that in the sense of self-discipline. Have any type of transformation, if you want to change, you have to be able to do the hard things. And that's where self-discipline is so important. Actually, what will get you far and help you achieve the goals that you have set. Instead of just relying on motivation and willpower, because those are not endless. No matter how motivated you are in the beginning of the year, that's going to wear off eventually, and you can have the best willpower in the world, but without self-discipline, it's hard to stick with it. Self-discipline boils down to this. Do you know what you want? Can you delay gratification? Can you set systems and follow them? And are you willing to reduce distraction and prioritize high value activities? And then rinse and repeat. And you just keep doing this over and over again. And before you know it, you've hit and achieved all of the goals that you've set out. And the reason being is that you have set systems in place that make it easy for you to have self-discipline. And the problem is sometimes we set such high expectations of ourselves, and then after a week or two or a month, we see that we can't achieve this, and so you give up. And there's actually a term for that. It's called false hope syndrome. So essentially what it means is that you set such high expectations where you just end up giving up early on. And the way to combat this is by setting sustainable and achievable goals. So say you want to have, 10,000 YouTube subscribers this year. Don't think about I'm going to have that in a week, or I'm going to have that in 6 weeks. Just focus on what can you do today? What are systems and habits that you can put into place that will get you closer to that goal? And it may take much longer than you expect, but by maybe setting a more sustainable goal of thinking, okay, I want 10,000, but why not? Let's start with 1,000. What can I do today to achieve 1,000? Then work backwards and build a goal backwards from that. Same thing with if you want to lose weight. Say you want to lose 100 pounds. You're not going to expect yourself to lose that in a month, right? So you can think of, okay, what can I actually sustainably do in 3 months? Maybe it's 20 pounds for you. Maybe it's only 10. And then from that, you say, what are some action steps that I can build around it and set systems so that I can reach that? And now you're only focused on that 10 pounds that you need to lose, or that 1,000 subscribers that you need to get. And you're not worried about that bigger goal. That goal is still there. You're going to get there eventually, but you need to focus on building consistency and repetition, which is so important. And we'll get into that more later on in the video. Is that you focus more on low value activities rather than high value activities that will get you closer to your goals. So say your goal is to have a side business and a side hustle, and after work, you end up just sitting on the couch and watching Netflix instead of spending an hour or even 90 minutes working towards building your future and this side hustle. And so it's about the activities that you have throughout the day. Are they in a line with the life that you want? And it's simple as that. Another reason why people lack self-discipline is they're not clear on your goals. If you don't know where you're going, how do you even know? Like, you wouldn't get in a car and say, drive. The person's going to ask you, okay, where are we going? Where's the final destination? And that destination can change. Once you get there, you can go somewhere else. But if you don't even know where you're going, then it's going to be really, really hard to start. And so having all of your goals ruminating in your head, write them down. Get them out of your head and onto a piece of paper. If you can, even better, look at them daily to remind you of what it is that you're doing and why you're doing it. And one of the biggest reasons why we lack self-discipline is we aren't able to delay gratification. When we scroll on social media, instant gratification. When we go to our fridge and say we have a craving and we go and we grab that ice cream, instant gratification. But if you can learn to delay gratification in certain aspects of your life, your ability to be self-disciplined and have that skill is just gonna increase over time. But you get what I mean. That's the biggest problem, is the more we learn to delay gratification, the better we become at having self-discipline. And the thing is, it's like we're human. Everyone has urges. Those urges will come up, and it's about having that awareness of being mindful, of stepping back and saying, where is this urge coming from? Is this because I'm suppressing an emotion? Is this because this is a habit that I've built over time, where when I feel, for example, while I was working on creating the script, at some point, I started to feel a bit overwhelmed, where it was like, I don't even know where to start. This is just too much. And my old habit is to go get a snack and put on some Netflix. And then I could just forget about it. And I tell myself, I just need to let my brain relax. And really, it's because I'm feeling overwhelmed. And so I told myself, okay, I just need to work on it for 20 minutes. I could read, I could just write script, like it doesn't matter. I don't even have to produce anything of value. I'm just going to sit here for 20 minutes and think of it. And after the 20 minutes were up, I was just on a roll and I just wanted to continue going. And so ability to be mindful. In this book that I read, I'm going to post it somewhere here. He taught in this book, there's a concept called urge surfing. I don't know anything about surfing, but essentially it's like when you have an urge, you don't have to instantly follow it through, but maybe watch it. And I kind of saw it as this mindful awareness of seeing it from the outside in, of being a spectator, of being like, okay, what is happening here? Why is this urge coming up? Has it come up before? What can I do next time when it comes up? And that was something that was so pivotal for me. And I'm really practicing because I am not perfect. I have a lot of habits that I am trying to change. And part of that is being aware that the old habits are there for a reason. They're comfortable. I find them to be comfortable. And so when I don't plan for things and I don't have a system in place, I'm going to fall back onto those old habits. Taking a step back and being like, is this a way, am I self-sabotaging? Is this a limiting behavior? Is this a habit that is probably maladaptive, that's no longer good for me? And what can I do to change that? And change is uncomfortable, but change is hard. Otherwise, we'd all be really good at changing our behaviors. First, you need to know what you want and then make a plan. If you don't plan your life, what you're doing is you're allowing other people to plan your life for you. Not making a choice is a choice in itself. And so you get to decide, do you want to live by other people's rules, or do you want to create a life that you wish and desire? A lack of self-discipline is said to contribute to low self-esteem. Because if you're constantly telling yourself, I'm going to do this, and then you don't, you're reducing your confidence in yourself. Slowly starts to wither away because you don't trust yourself. You are not someone that you can depend on. And see how I keep saying yourself? These are goals that you set for yourself. It doesn't matter what other people are expecting from you. At the end of the day, it's what do you value? Where do you want to be? Where do you see yourself? We want to set systems and not just goals. And we want our goals and the systems that we set to be sustainable and achievable. And what I essentially mean is you want to focus more on the inputs, on what you can actually control. I can control how many minutes in a day I dedicate to working on YouTube. What I can't control is how many people watch it. And so by focusing on the input rather than the output, I'm able to really hone in on improving my skills, getting better at scripting and making the time for it. But if I just focused on the output, about the fact that I wasn't where I needed to be already, it's so easy to give up. And so set some systems that work in alignment with your goals instead of just focusing on that big, scary goal. You want to stay organized. It is without organization, it is so easy to fall off course. If your room is messy, if your desk is messy, if you haven't set out your clothes the night before, you're going to reduce the amount of friction with the goals that you're putting in place. And by staying organized, that is really going to help you go far. So stay organized in order to stay on course. What I mean by this is, say you want to lose weight. So you're not going to have or it won't be beneficial to have a fridge that's full of food that you can't eat, that you haven't thought of what are the meals that you're going to have. Maybe you want to spend the weekend or a Sunday preparing some of those meals, whether that's, meal prepping them into containers or cooking food in bulk, so that when you're hungry, it's so easy to go and make those easier choices. It's about reducing the friction. Staying organized is something you definitely want to do if you want to make self-discipline easy. And then there is also something called the 40% rule. So this is something I've just come across recently. So essentially what the 40% rule is, say for example, you're doing 10 pull-ups. Okay, so and on the 10th one, you think, oh, I can't go any further. And this is something that they practice in the Navy SEALs, where they actually say that at that point, you're probably at only 40% of your total capacity. And so push yourself a little bit harder when you think you're done. And this can be done in so many aspects of life, whether it's with working out. Maybe you want to become a writer and you've set to yourself, okay, I'm going to write for 60 minutes a day. Why don't you start adding 10 minutes onto that every other week, where you go from 60 minutes to writing for 70 minutes and writing for 80, because you're probably only working at a 40% capacity. And if you push yourself a little harder, you'll be amazed at the capacity and what you're able to achieve. If you never challenge yourself, how do you know what your true potential is? Whatever it is that your goal is, you're going to be doing this over and over again. If you're trying to lose weight, you're not just going to eat healthy on Monday and then spend the next 6 days eating whatever you want and then doing it all over again on Monday. You want to have consistency and repetition. So maybe you work out at the same time. Maybe you set smaller goals. Make the journey fun for yourself. Don't try to do so much all at once. Build on the habits gradually and sustainably. So in summary, you want to stop labeling yourself as lazy, as a procrastinator. It is a skill, and the more you practice it, the better you're going to get at it. So pick a goal, set some systems and habits in place to achieve that goal, then break that down into bite-sized action steps. So tiny, we want 1% change over time. The easier you make it on yourself, the further you're actually going to be able to go. Remember, change is hard, but you can do hard things, and you need to become comfortable with being uncomfortable. That is the only way that you'll be able to change. And in life, we can decide to do hard things now to have an easier tomorrow, or you can have an easy today, but it's going to be a hard life tomorrow. You can decide you don't want to work out, and when you're 60 or 70, all of your health conditions start to pile up. And imagine if you started this at 20 or 30 or 40 and said, I'm going to make better choices today. It's going to be hard, but it will be easier in the long run. So delaying gratification is so important, and you can do it. I believe in you. You also want to identify your triggers and your distractions, and you want to either eliminate them or reduce them. So maybe you take off social media off of your phone. You unsubscribe from Netflix, or or whatever it is that is a distraction for you. Whatever these triggers and these distractions are, eliminate or reduce. There's less friction and it's easier for you to make the choices that align with the goals that you've set out. And when you think you're done, push yourself a little harder. You'll be surprised at what you're actually capable of. So that's how to make self-discipline easy. If you enjoyed this video, you're definitely going to want to watch my video on how to rebrand in 2025, where I go into how to set up goals and systems for yourselves. All right, guys, bye, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.